oftentimes you'll see like cut marks or like divots in the pan afterwards, and that's literally because you're cutting into the pan, and those trace amounts of Teflon or nonstick material or coating is coming right into the food that you're eating. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Selena from Wholeness Campaign, and today I want to take you through 5 non-toxic swaps that you can make in your kitchen to help you lead a lesser toxic lifestyle and hopefully help your body to heal more efficiently. Now, I'm going to rattle through these kind of fast, but I do want to explain a little bit of why I put it on the list and what the best non-toxic swap will be. If you're interested in purchasing lesser toxic versions, I will put my best options down below, and I'm sure some of these will spark some questions, so if you do have any, please leave them in the comments down below. Okay, so my first one on this list are pans. Now, there are a lot of forms of toxicity when it comes to what you cook with and the cookware that you're using. What we really want to be avoiding here is non-stick coatings. So anything that is labeled non-stick most of the time is going to be considered toxic. Most common cookwares that are considered non-stick use Teflon, which is considered completely toxic for your health. They've actually found that if you burn or overheat a Teflon pan in the presence of a canary, that you will actually kill the canary. Teflon factories have undergone tons of lawsuits lately, particularly because the workers that have been working in these factories have been exposed to high amounts of toxic fumes as the pans and the cookware have been being made, and they have developed things like cancer and different kinds of autoimmune conditions that stem from just an increased level of toxicity in the body. So I generally avoid the word nonstick anywhere that I possibly can, and for this reason I have stuck to cast iron cookware. Cast iron, glass, or stainless steel, pure stainless steel cookware is what I will prefer over and above any kind of Teflon or non-stick cookware. You're looking for that kind of film that almost feels a little greasy when you touch it. Most baking sheets are made out of Teflon, so that kind of material that's not stainless steel but not cast iron, it's most likely Teflon, and you should definitely get rid of it. Honestly, this is the one thing that if you haven't done this already, I would just purge it right away, because heating it up not only releases those gases, but you're basically consuming trace amounts of it in your food every time that you cook with something that is Teflon or nonstick. Go ahead and just kick those out and use just a cast iron pan. You can get one for $15 at any kind of store, honestly. Amazon, just hop on Amazon, you can get it for $15 and just use that instead. It's worth learning how to use cast iron. It functions like a nonstick if you learn how to use it properly. So, not to mention when you're using utensils or anything that's kind of more abrasive on the pan, oftentimes you'll see like cut marks or like divots in the pan afterwards, and that's literally because you're cutting into the pan, and those trace amounts of Teflon or nonstick material or coating is coming right into the food that you're eating. So you definitely want to make sure that you're avoiding those however you can. Number 2 is plastic anything. So this is going to go for utensils. It's going to go for plastic containers, storage containers, kids cups, kids sippy cups, kids bottles, kids utensils, everything, you guys. Everything plastic, you're going to want to purge that as well. Plastics contain a host of toxic chemicals that are basically being released and absorbed and digested as you use those products. And especially when they're heated up, the plastic basically melts and you are consuming small amounts of those plastics over time. Even plastic water bottles should kind of be avoided as much as you can. Plastic is not a safe material to be using. And so I kind of purge based off what is going to touch my food. So if it's going to touch my food, I make sure that it's not plastic. So I may use a plastic lid for a container, but I'm not going to use a plastic container. I'm going to try to replace those for anything like stainless steel or glass containers. They're a little bit more expensive, but they definitely are a worthwhile investment if you are looking to kind of keep your food safe and clean and not have any toxic chemicals leached in through your food. Okay, my third one is aluminum masked as stainless steel. So this one's a little bit of a tricky one, and I've done a lot of research on this lately because I've realized that some of the pots and pans I actually have are much more toxic than I actually had thought. How stainless steel works and how stainless steel cookware works is that it's never 100% stainless steel. So there is always some aluminum in it. It is usually the inner lining, like the inner layer of a pot. So maybe the base of the pot, the inner part of that is going to be aluminum. But what happens is then you layer it with, they call it like ply. So maybe 1 ply, 2 ply, 3 ply, up to sometimes I've seen, I think 7 ply, 5 or 7 ply stainless steel coating around it. So the higher ply stainless steel coating is going to be the healthier kind of stainless steel. The higher ply coating that you have, the further away that aluminum is from your food. And so if you have a 1 ply stainless steel pot, all it takes oftentimes is a little bit, like a few months of cleaning it, and you've kind of torn through that first ply of stainless steel coating, and it gets down to that aluminum. So you end up cooking in some amounts of aluminum. So I noticed this with a pot that I was using. It was actually discolored in different spots, and I thought they were, stains or things I could pick off, but I realized it was divots, and they were little black spots. And when I looked it up, it's very frequent that cheaper pots will only use 1 to 3 ply of stainless steel coating around that aluminum. And so eventually that aluminum does kind of shine through, and that's what you're cooking with. And so I would recommend investing as you can, even if it's just moving, one pan over to a more high quality, higher ply stainless steel cookware over time, incrementally kind of moving those along and switching them out. But there is a difference in quality between the different levels of ply, as well as what's actually in the stainless steel, those stainless steel coatings. There are actually different ratios of nickel to stainless steel. It's definitely worth looking into, because the cheaper it is, the more exposed to these different heavy metals you will be. Again, if you're unfamiliar with the toxicity of heavy metals, do your own research, but heavy metals have been known to be linked to a lot of different chronic health conditions and to be the root cause of so many different things. So we really want to keep them out of our diet. We want to keep them out of our cookware so that we're not ingesting any kind of amount of these toxic metals. Okay, number 4 is microwaves. Now, microwaves are toxic for a number of reasons, but the first one being that it is a high exposure of EMFs every time that you use one. So actually, I've used my EMF reader up against a microwave when it's on, and it is ridiculous how much EMFs just come from this tiny little microwave. It's not even really safe to be around when it's on, and so what it's doing to your food is a whole other story. You're basically radiating your food. So when you radiate anything, you actually kill off a lot of the nutrients. So if you're looking to create a healthier lifestyle with food, but then you're putting things in the microwave to get it just killed off and anything positive is kind of gone, you really do want to consider swapping that out for something like a toaster oven, or even just an oven or a stovetop, which can heat things up without actually damaging the structure of the food. When you radiate something, it is not easily absorbed into your body. It is not as bioavailable as it can be. Every once in a while, I will still do it if I really have a meal that I need to eat on the go or something like that. But I really try to either heat it up at home and bring it in a thermos, or bring things to go with me that don't need to be heated up. I will link in the description box my Wista oven, which is stainless steel on the inside. It's awesome. It's a toaster oven. It has all these different features of air frying and roasting and baking, and it's just great. But I don't have to use a microwave at all. We actually never use our microwave, and instead we just heat it up in there, and it takes maybe 10 more minutes than it would just getting zapped for a minute in the microwave, but all the nutrients are intact and the radiation that's coming from it is much less, so it is a lot safer in terms of EMFs. Plus, I will say that most microwaves are plastic on the inside, which again, like I said, when you heat plastic, or especially in this case, radiating plastic, you are going to be releasing some kind of toxic chemicals into the air, and that is another thing for your body to then have to detox from. Number 5 is so hard for me, but it is ceramic. Now, I still will use ceramic at other people's houses. We actually still haven't transitioned into not using ceramic at our house, but it's something that's high on the priority list. And the reason for this is because the glaze on ceramic, if not the ceramic itself, is usually toxic, especially when it's made in factories in China that you don't even know what's going on in. You really shouldn't be trusting that glaze at all. There have been a lot of research studies that have shown that glaze that covers ceramic dishware contains chemicals and lead oftentimes. And so you may not realize it, but if you're heating it up all the time, just with the food that you're putting on it or cutting into it, you potentially could be having trace levels of that ceramic coating in your food, and that is not ideal. So again, the safest materials to be using in the kitchen are cast iron, glass, stainless steel, and I will sometimes use silicone if it's not going to be heated at all. But you just really want to be making sure that the kinds of materials you're using don't have this kind of coating on it. And again, I'm speaking to myself because I haven't made that transition yet. But again, it is a slow process. You definitely want to take it one step at a time. I'm not here sitting telling you that I have my entire kitchen completely perfect yet. But I am here to give you the best information that I have and point you in the right direction. So just as an encouragement for you, as you are detoxing your home, it's a process and it takes time, but focusing on one thing at a time. If you want to use this list as an order of priorities, I think that's going to be helpful. Making sure that what you're cooking in, those pans are non-toxic, and then what you're eating with is not plastic, and then that you're not using aluminum as opposed to stainless steel, cutting out those microwaves, and finally, if you're willing to give up that dishware and find something more simple like glass or wood, that is going to be a great option. So I hope this video was helpful. These kinds of videos are not meant to overwhelm you or provoke fear. Really, my hope is to just expose you to some of these things and give you a helpful process for detoxing your home and helping to promote health and well-being in your body. So if you got any value out of this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. It is my passion to walk alongside people as they heal and grow. It inspires me and hopefully brings encouragement to you. Thanks for watching.